Hi, you. Busier day today, though I promise I'll tell it slowly, the way I always do. There's a little festival in the village tonight. Nothing grand, just the autumn kind. The kind they hold every year once the harvest is mostly in. And I spent most of my day baking for it. Come, get comfortable. I'll walk you through the whole thing, start to finish. It was a good kind of busy, the kind that still leaves room for rambling. I was up earlier than even my usual early today. There's something about baking that asks for a slow start. You can't rush dough, no matter how impatient you are, and elves have had a great many centuries to learn that lesson the hard way. I made the same little spiced honey cakes I make every year. It's not much of a recipe, really, nothing fancy, just flour and honey from old phoenix bees, and a bit of cinnamon, and a little something extra I won't tell you, because every baker needs one small secret. Don't ask, I never tell. Not even the baker's daughter's gotten it out of me, and she's tried for years. The kitchen got warm fast, between the oven and the morning sun coming through the window. I like that warmth, the kind that smells like cinnamon and feels like the whole cottage is holding its breath, waiting for the first batch to come out golden. There's a lot of waiting in baking. People often forget that part. You mix and you wait. You knead and you wait. You shape the little cakes and then you wait again while they rise. I don't mind the waiting anymore. Used to when I was younger, always checking the dough every few minutes, like it might do something dramatic if I looked away. It never does. It just needs time, the way most good things do. So, I sat by the window while the first batch rose, tea in hand, watching the village start to stir for the festival. Little flags going up along the main path, the same faded ones from last year, patched here and there, because no one in this village throws away a perfectly good flag just because it's a bit worn. I like that about them. I could also hear hammering somewhere, probably the market stalls being set up, and somewhere further off, someone practicing a fiddle tune, stopping and starting, stopping and starting, the way you do when you're trying to get a tricky bit right before tonight. The first batch came out just right, a little golden, a little sticky at the edges, exactly the way they're supposed to be. I burned my finger a little, pulling them out, the way I do almost every single year without fail. You'd think, after this many centuries, I'd have learned to use the cloth properly. Apparently not. The baker's daughter stopped by while the second batch was in, brought me a loaf of the seeded bread. Trade, she said, though I think she just wanted to see how many honey cakes she could talk me out of early. I gave her 2. She always gets 2. It's become part of the ritual, same as everything else around here. We talked about the festival a little. She's got a stall of her own this year, her first one, and she was equal parts thrilled and terrified about it, in that particular way young people get about things that matter to them. I told her the same thing I tell everyone who's nervous about something new. You don't have to be ready, you only have to begin and let ready catch up to you along the way. She didn't say much back, just nodded and took her bread and her 2 honey cakes and went off to go be nervous somewhere else for a little while. That's all right. Some advice needs time to settle before it does anything. I made 3 more batches throughout the afternoon. Lost count a little, honestly, of how many cakes that ended up being. A great many. More than I probably needed to make, if I'm honest, but I always make too many. There's something in me that likes the idea of nobody going without on a night like tonight. The kitchen stayed warm the whole time. Flour on my sleeves, a little on my nose. I didn't notice until much later. The whole cottage smelled like honey and cinnamon and the specific comforting chaos of a kitchen that's been well used all day. I took a short break in the middle of it all, just sat on the step outside, cooling off, listening to the village get louder and busier in that particular festival eve way. Someone was stringing up lanterns along the fence line. A couple of children ran past chasing something or nothing, the way children do. I didn't rush back in. The dough could wait a few more minutes. Everything can wait a few more minutes most days if you let it. By evening, I had trays and trays of them, wrapped up in cloth, stacked carefully so they wouldn't crash on the walk down. I always overpack a basket for these things. More than one basket can reasonably hold, if I'm honest, and I always end up balancing the top layer particular golden cozy hum to it that festival evenings get, right before they really start. I'm heading down shortly, actually, after I finish telling you all this. I imagine I'll see Fennec there, complaining about his knees and the noise, and secretly enjoying every minute of it, same as every year. I imagine the baker's daughter will be nervous and lovely at her little stall, and I imagine by the end of the night she won't be nervous anymore. That's my day. Flour and honey and a burnt finger and more cakes than any one village could reasonably need. A good kind of busy, though. The kind that still left room to notice things. Flags and fiddles and a nervous young woman who just needed telling she didn't have to be ready yet. I won't be here quite as long tonight. The festival's calling, and there are cakes to deliver before they go cold. But I wanted to tell you about my day first, the way I always do, before I go anywhere else. I hope, wherever you are, something warm and golden is waiting for you too, even if it's just the inside of your own blanket right now. Sleep now, if that's where you're headed. I'll keep watch, even from the festival.